It is 6 a.m. and right now on Denver7 News.
If you don't have travel plans, don't make them. If you do have them, reconsider.
You've heard the warnings over the past week, but one day before Thanksgiving, Coloradans are making decisions of their own and preparing for the busiest driving day of the season.
Air travel is down, but Coloradans are hitting the roads in surprising numbers on this day before Thanksgiving. We'll show you.
The holiday comes as hospitals are on the brink of becoming overwhelmed.
We are all doing everything we can to keep our hospitals from reaching capacity.
But Longmont's mayor says his neighbors to the east aren't doing the same, and he's ready to deny them care.
If you want to come into Longmont, just make sure that your constitutional rights stop at the edge of Longmont city limits.
Plus, decked out and ready to serve thousands of families in need, the local school district making sure every family has a special meal for tomorrow. And we'll have details on how and where to pick up that meal this morning. Hopefully it can still be a special holiday for you. Good Wednesday morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Molly Hendrickson. Thanks for joining us this morning. We have a breaking traffic alert as you wake up. I-25 northbound is closed at Evans for a crash, and traffic anchor Jason LUBER joins us with the impact.
Yeah, it's been this way since about 3:30 this morning. I was actually stuck in the traffic jam early this morning. The northbound side is closed at Evans for the crash that's back here at the Steel Street Bridge. Let me take you live to the camera over there where you could see the activity. We have one truck here. We had another truck that was on its side over here. That one is up on the tow truck and out of there. There's actually another car behind me here that's also waiting to be towed away. And so significant damage, and there were some people that were hurt in this wreckage. So as the cleanup continues, northbound I-25 remains closed down back at Evans. And as you see on the map, the traffic jam already goes back to nearly Hamden. So I'm not going to suggest you wait all the way up to Evans. Exit early at either Hamden. If you can get up to Yale, you can take that to Colorado Boulevard to Evans to University. You can go to University or Broadway and make your way back up to I-25. Those are going to be good ways to get around it until all lanes are open, hopefully in the next half an hour. There's also a report of a new crash on 225 right here near Yosemite. I'm not seeing big backups yet, but I'll keep an eye on that situation, Lisa. There are still some icy spots from the melting yesterday evening and then freezing on the overnight hours.
And this is why it's pretty cold out there. Teens and 20s early this morning. You've got a really cold start to our Wednesday morning. It's going to be a beautiful afternoon, though. Plenty of sunshine yesterday. Things really cleared out. It was a fast-moving storm. And now we're looking at a pretty decent at-the-park forecast with a lot of melting at the park. We're expecting temperatures to be likely by this afternoon in the low to even mid-50s. So a pretty warm one compared to the 30s that we saw yesterday. We've got Denver at about 53, Fort Collins and Greeley near 50 with more 30s and 40s in the mountains. Things are clear right now. We are at this point alert-free across the state, not anticipating any winter weather advisories tomorrow. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but there will be some light snow developing in the mountains on Thanksgiving. And down here, we could even see a few flurries. I'll show you the timing of that and your full Thanksgiving forecast coming up.
Thanks, Lisa. The warning has been said over and over and over again, but despite the best efforts by health officials and local leaders, hundreds of thousands of Coloradans are traveling for Thanksgiving today. At the end of the day, it comes down to what you think is the right decision for your health and the health of those around you. Denver7's Nicole Brady is live at DIA, and Nicole, roads are expected to be much busier than the airport.
That's right, Molly. Many people believe that driving is safer than flying, and that is seen in these new numbers we have this morning from AAA. We can show you those numbers here. 848,000 Coloradans are expected to travel by car for Thanksgiving. That number is slightly higher than last year around Thanksgiving, despite health officials urging Americans not to travel. And that's despite the fact that air travel is significantly lower. Now, remember, in most of Colorado right now, gatherings outside of our own households are not allowed. And if you are headed to another state, even by car, remember, some states do have specific travel restrictions. Some have quarantine requirements, or they strongly suggest quarantine. AAA does expect that some people will make last-minute changes to their travel plans.
In Colorado, we think about 900,000 Coloradans will be traveling at least 50 miles or more for the Thanksgiving holiday. Although we are now anticipating that number is going to fall. And by the way, that's a good thing. It means that people are getting the message that it's not safe to travel, that they should stick close to home, stick to small groups.
So even if some people change their plans today, we do expect today to be the busiest day of the week for road travel, and specifically this afternoon will be the busiest time on the roads. We know some people will travel despite the warnings, so if you are going somewhere by car, AAA suggests making as few stops as possible. Maybe plan those stops in advance so you have fewer interactions overall with people and hopefully get to your destination safely. And coming up at 6:30, guys, we'll take you back inside DIA to show you how the line looks in there this morning. A sneak peek, there really isn't much of a line.
Yeah, pretty wild scene there at DIA. Millions of Americans we know are expected to travel nationwide today, but the pandemic is not slowing down. The COVID tracking project reported 15 straight days of record hospitalizations yesterday and more than 2,000 deaths nationwide. Here in Colorado, 1 in 41 people are estimated to be contagious with the coronavirus right now. The state reported just over 4,100 new COVID cases yesterday. More than 1,700 patients are currently in the hospital, and at that current rate, we will exceed our ICU capacity by mid-January.
Meanwhile, a majority of Americans have changed holiday plans. According to a new poll from Axios, 61% of people have changed their plans in some way. The most common changes reported were limiting the holiday to only immediate household members and having a smaller dinner than originally planned. Dr. Anthony Fauci says we should prepare for the worst.
The travel, the congregate setting, not wearing masks, the chances are that you will see a surge superimposed upon a surge.
Dr. Fauci says we'll likely know how family gatherings impacted the pandemic in about 2 to 3 weeks.
More Colorado counties raised their COVID restrictions to level red today. Sedgwick County in northeastern Colorado and Baca County in southeastern Colorado make that switch today. And then on Friday, El Paso County, where Colorado Springs is located, upgrades to level red. Weld County is under level red restrictions, but county commissioners there say they will not enforce the order. That is now causing Longmont's mayor to send a clear message to his neighbors to the east.
I do not want to be locked down. I want my business to be at 100% capacity. I want to go out and have dinner with my family. Unfortunately, I can't. We are all doing everything we can to keep our hospitals from reaching capacity. Weld County is doing nothing.
Mayor Brian Bagley there says if the time comes where Weld County runs out of hospital beds for its citizens, he would urge hospitals in Longmont to not take in Weld County residents.
I'm simply saying when the time comes that there's not a bed, when the time comes that there's not a physician, we're going to have to make a decision. And I think that decision needs to be made based on, well, did this municipality or county do anything to save their resources, or did they squander that opportunity?
Weld County commissioners don't believe the mayor's proposal is legal. Both Centura Health and UC Health in Longmont say they will provide care for anyone who walks through their doors.
The town of Castle Rock is moving forward with a plan to oppose the state's decision to move Douglas County into the COVID red zone. Restaurant owners pointed out no outbreaks in Douglas County are linked to restaurants. Owners fear losing indoor dining will lead to layoffs or even permanent closures. The resolution says Castle Rock will not enforce the rules, which it doesn't anyway. That falls to the health department, which is already taking action. Tri-County Health shut down 5 Douglas County restaurants for continuing indoor dining against orders. 3 in Castle Rock, the other 2 in Parker. And a similar effort is happening in Loveland. Restaurants are vowing not to comply with the new order. Dozens of business owners don't think the decision to move into the red zone makes sense. The Larimer County Health Department says it's currently seeing a 12.1% positivity rate, just below the state's level.
Aurora Public Schools is making sure students and their families are taken care of this Thanksgiving. This morning, the district will hand out 8,000 free Thanksgiving meal kits at Hinckley High School. Those kits include turkey, mashed potatoes, green beans, rolls, and pumpkin pie. It feeds a family of 4. That distribution starts at 10:30 this morning. The district will be serving the meals out of the same refrigerated buses they've used to hand out free meals during the pandemic. The district says they've served nearly 3.5 million meals so far.